those models, and then a global model will be produced, right? And in that sense, you can protect your data set by not sending it to anyone else. You're just like keeping it safe and just like sending the product of this training that happened locally. But there are still some constraints about this process, and that's the point that I want to highlight. And it's basically like, what if, right? Not necessarily like making part of a federated learning pipeline meets my entire criteria on the way that I want to provide insights about my data set, right? Some people want to provide models only for their friends. Some people want to provide their models only for like their company. And not necessarily they will be willing to accept every single federated learning pipeline just because it is federated learning, right? And the thing is, it's very difficult to create a system where people can have this type of choice, right? Where people can customize the way that those federated learning pipelines can be acceptable or denied based on their own custom criteria, right? And it's very difficult to keep the network uniform at the same time as respecting each peer criteria on what should be accepted or what should be denied, right? And that's where I think that SyftBox has a really big advantage on the way that we are thinking. It's just that you can actually develop, since it's just like a file system, you can actually develop your own way to automatize, like to make automation around different apps, because it's just like files and folders, right? And I'll show you like during the demo, like where you can do that. For this demo, we'll be still like doing that manually. We're just still like moving folders manually, but there will be a point where you can see where you can actually start like working with that. And what we expect is in the future, there will be another apps developed by third-party entities or users who have different criterias, right? Criterias like, I want to share my model just if I had some level of privacy in it, or just I want to share my model for a select group of people. If I receive any other like federated learning pipeline that is not like from these people, from this group, I would just reject it. Or anyway, like any custom criteria that can be done. But yeah, let's go into the demo time. For the demo, I would like you to install two different apps. The first one is this. One requirement, please, everyone, let me know if you have SyftBox installed and running. So the first app is OpenMined FL client, right? This is the client version. I'll be the aggregator one. And the second app is the app install OpenMined. I think I just recorded that here. Yeah. The second one. The second one is kind of like an additional feature that I would like to share after, but it's just like a dataset loader. So we can index data sets in ways that it's private, but at the same time, you can actually search across the entire network and see what kind of data are available for each peer and stuff like that. Yeah, let me know if you have done that so we can start the process. I will just jump into the aggregator side, like configuration-wise, right? But please let me know if you find any problem installing those apps. I'll be aware about any like hand or something like that. Yeah. So going for the federated learning aggregator side, we also have a similar version of this app, but for the aggregator side, right? So if I go for my terminal again and type cursor, in this case I'll type code, right? So let me just open here real quick. Yeah. Starting, if I go into my APIs, I'll see that there's a couple of like apps that I'm running right now, and one of them is Federated Learning Aggregator, right? And in this app, I have some samples that I will use during this process because I don't want to set up everything from scratch. And one of the most important ones is this file.config.json, right? Because it's here that I would set like the name of my Federated Learning project, the path to my model. In this case, will be training MNIST model, where the test data set lives and stuff like that, and also the participants that will be joining in this process. So at some point, I will stop. I will wait for you to install both apps and send me your DataSite emails so I can add at this point, right? And the idea is this app creates a specific folder in my DataSite. Search here real quick. Where is it? What is it? Unisio. Yeah, here. This specific app, Federated Aggregator, creates a specific folder here in API data, right? And this folder has 3 different folders. It's very familiar with like the Ring app. The strategy is very similar. The thing is, we need to copy this config.json, the model architecture, and the federated, all the files that are in the samples. Let me just return back to the APIs. All those files.
Hey Anigio, could you just like zoom in a little bit so it's a little bit easier to?
Yeah, actually I have a better idea. Let me just go for this file system visualization because it's simple. So if I go here again, I have the samples for the launch config, right? The model.py is just like the model architecture, right? We are using Torch. The model weight is just like a serialized version of this model architecture, right? That we want to pass through all the peers so they can train and they can use the same architecture, so we can all agree with the model. And the federated config JSON is the thing that I was mentioning to you before. So just like regular configuration about this process. The thing is, in order to start a new federated process from a federated aggregator point, I just need to copy all those files and paste it on my data sites, Unisio, API data, launch folder, right? If I do that, I will start the process, right? The federated learning process. But the point is, I need to config the file first. So let me know if you already have like the client set up, and if so, put your emails here. I will copy it and paste into the file. So let me just go here, start copying it. For some reason I cannot add it. Let me go here and APIs. Cool. So let me start copying it. Valerio, this will take a little bit of time. Not sure if someone can aggregate.
Yeah, I can help you that.
Okay, thank you. Just give me the list. No, because it's for you will be the FL client instead of FL aggregator. This is two APIs type of application where we have an aggregator, a central aggregator. In this case, would be myself, and the other peers will be running the FL client, right? So this is the piece that you actually need to run. All good?
almost there.
Sure. Thank you.
So I'm at Matthias, Gustavo now. Right, I can count. Suba.
Interesting.
Lucas. KB.
Okay, Trask, can you check if there's already like a Torch version installed in your environment? Something like that?
That's weird. George.
Okay.
Tusha. Yes. Okay. I'll start sending the ones I have so far.
Okay. Thank you.
Which counts up to 17, excluding myself.
Oh, nice.
So I'll send you on Slack direct message.
Sure.
I think that's easy.
Sure. 1 second, guys.
There you go.
Thanks. Share my screen. Again. Okay.
There's another one
Go here.
now.
Just getting the last one. Nice. Let me copy that, go for my file config, paste that here.
Oh, they're not in brackets. Sorry.
No worries. I just converted that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's missing the last one.
It's missing.
I can get that real quick.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. Now it's done. Here, of course, I will change that for Inizio.
Wait, I think you removed a few. At least I can't see myself anymore in this, I guess.
I guess you mentioned that you were not in the list, but I can add you.
No, I was not in the list, no.
Yeah, that's fine. You can just add here. And here you go.
Brilliant.
All good?
Yes.
Cool.
Looks like it.
So now we have the FL config configured, right? I just need to go into my, again, I'll get the sample, I'll copy this entire thing, go into my datasite folder, look for Tunisia, and then API data, FL aggregator, launch. Once I put those files here, this is just like a Windows thing, nothing too much to worry about it. This will, now let me go for this piece here. This will trigger, like the next time that the federated aggregator run, this will trigger a new process, and in this folder, I would expect something to change, right? I would expect this launching stuff to be empty at some point, and the running folder will have something. And I think that if we done that properly, your API data FL client would contain something in the request, right? So now I'm just like switching hats, and I'm just like looking at this process as a federated client, right? And I should be able to see something like requests at this point. Yeah. So let's see if that worked. Not yet. Maybe there are some logs in it. APIs, FL aggregator. Let's see the logs. Yeah, FL aggregator. Ooh, something about the FL config JSON is wrong. Let's check that. I'm missing something. Maybe it doesn't have the last thing. Not sure. Let's wait a little bit. See if I know.
Thank you, Jason, for disappointing once again.
Yeah. Let's see. It's still invalid JSON format. Let's use ChatGPT to spot the problem real quick. Hold on. What is my? Why is JSON is wrong? Sorry, guys. Just like live demo as always.
Yeah. I can't actually tell. Could be the formatting, but I don't think it is. It's not YAML, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think from what ChatGPT said, it's something regarding like use both tabs and spaces for indentation. Not entirely sure if that's the problem, but
so yeah,
let's try it. Let's see if that works. Yeah, saved.
I'm not showing my cool FL project in request.
Cool, nice. Did it work?
Model.py inside the folder.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
So can you guys check if the request has this folder?
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yes.
Okay, nice.
And all the FL config.json, I got a copy from my side.
Cool. So now let's go for. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I can go ahead.
Okay, so if I go into my FL, I should be able to see this folder, and this would give me, this should have given me the
dashboard.
And perhaps just wait a few seconds.
No. Yeah. Let me see if something is still wrong here. Yeah, I can see that here, this is the log of the aggregator side, right? So I can see that private data was not added until now, which is not a problem. But here I can see that some people, they didn't install the FL client, or if they install it, the private data is not there. Now, just like to help people that already like have installed it and help them to configure the client side, let's go for the client API. What I would expect is in the APIs, if you look at your APIs and FL client, right, you have some MNIST symbol, right? And we split them in different labels in order to show that the actual federated learning works. We would ask you guys to select 2 or 3 of those things right here. Just copy them, right? Copy them, and just reminding, we are in APIs, FL client, and MNIST symbols. We'll be copying them into the private folder, FL client, right? So SyftBox, private FL client. Just copy and paste the models that you selected, and you should be fine. And then maybe I can just do a tail minus F, so we can see the logs. Yeah, let's see. Just waiting for those here. And in the meantime, let me just check what could be going wrong with the dashboard. If I go to public, FL, and then see my cool FL project, I can see that there's a index HTML there. So maybe now I would have something here. maybe not. Oh, okay, sorry. Maybe that's the issue. Yeah, that's the issue. So here, as you can see, there is a list of people that have the FL installed, right? None approved yet, because we didn't got into this step. And added private data, nothing as well. So
that's weird.
I think that this one probably is checked after someone approved the project, actually. But let's see. Just reminder, it's not inside of data sites. It's actually in your SyftBox root folder, private FL client, right? Let's see.
Dionisio, probably something to remind to the clients that we need to copy and paste the request into the running folder.
Oh, yeah. But this is the approval part, right?
Yeah.
That's the part that I mentioned that we are doing manually, but you can easily think about different apps moving these folders for different criteria, right? Let's suppose that I have a strange criteria where I just would accept FL pipelines between midnight and 6 a.m. So every single request that pops up into my request folder that doesn't respect this time, I would just like delete them. And if some new federated pipeline appears there in this like time interval, I can accept it. Oh, look, the first private data was added. So I think it's just like about approve it first. Can you guys do what Valerie said? Just go for FL client and then move the entire like my QFL folder from request to approved. So we can see this thing changing here. But yeah, so the cool thing about this is, again, I can, as an aggregator, I can dispatch different federated learning pipelines. In this case, I'm using just a single one, but I could have different ones. Each one of those can have a different group of people that I trust or that I want to aggregate. And also from the member perspective, they would be allowed to accept or deny different pipelines based on their own preferences without affecting the whole network or without injecting different dependencies on the entire network, which is really like cool to be able to customize, to have this level of flexibility. But yeah, anyone else approved but didn't got the results here?
Dionisio, could you explain again this step of approving?
Yeah.
Cool, sure. So the thing is, if you go into your data sites, then look for your name, for example, Gustavo? Is that what? Valerio, maybe? Valerio. Yeah. Let's see if Valerio has this. He has the FL client, right? And inside of his folder, it has like request and running, right? I would expect that my federated pipeline was sent to his request folder, right? He just needs to move this entire folder from this point to the running path, and that's it. In this case, look for your own path. Oh, look, we have another suba. And I think that here we have a problem because some people didn't install. So I think that this will only run if everyone installs it.
May I suggest one thing, super quick?
Go ahead.
If they navigate your dashboard, they have the possibility to install the client with one click. So if you
Sure.
just share that link into the chat,
yeah,
they can install it using the widget.
Sure. So it's here, and also you can follow the process of training.
In the meantime, as all the checkboxes show up, we could also move on to the next presentation.
Sure. Yeah.
But
please go ahead.
yeah, feel free to
sorry Lucas, for
keep tinkering in the
part of your
background,
time.
but also pay attention, because also yeah, we have a really interesting presentation coming up as well. Thank you so much, Inizio. Great stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Lucas, do you wanna take over?
Yes, I will share my screen. So. I hope, can you hear me? I hope everyone can see the screen right by now. Yep. Okay. So what I'm showing here is the broad listening internet. I'm Lucas. I am here. Let me see what I'm here. And these are my projects. If you go on Index, you can see it's just redirected to my personal website where you have contact info. I also participate in this challenge by OpenMined. So here in the 30 days of Federated Learned Code, I have the log of the progress that I'm doing. And I would like to introduce to you today is this voting.html file here, which is the app that I would like to introduce. So the idea here is to having this voting app on SyftBox, which is made with as a single page application done with Vue.js. So Vue.js, I don't know if you're familiar with, but it can allow you to create single page application like complex web applications. And what I try to do here is to integrate the Vue.js project in running hosted in SyftBox. So and of course, if it's possible with Vue, it should also be possible to React and Angular. And we have all these communities that would like to build great apps that could deploy and running on SyftBox. And this was one example of this. And the idea is to have this voting app that has sub apps related to voting. So we can easily switch in the sidebar here, like a state manager. We can easily switch between apps, and I keep adding more and more related stuff related to voting. And also in the right side, we have another sidebar here, side menu, that updates the action depending on the selected application. So for the rated voting, we have how to use the tutorial here. We still don't have the installing in one click, so we need to do the traditional way, or installing SyftBox first, and then we have to clone the voting API in the APIs folder. And to cast and vote and submit an election, I will show you in details how to do it. But for the creation election, I will also improve the style here. Sorry for my CSS here, but I will show how to do it step by step, how to vote and how to create an election. So first of all, this single page application helps us to generate JSON files. And let me switch this here. I think it's going to be easier to, yeah. So the single page application is just to generate JSON files. And we have a JSON for a vote, and we have a JSON for an election. And all we have to do is just drop these JSON files that the client generates, the web application generates, to the SyftBox corresponding folder. So for instance, let's create here an election. And the idea is to have just these three filling, this very, very easy and small form where you can put in an election question or a sentence, it can be a question or it can be an affirmative. And we have a lower value and an upper value description that can go from like strongly disagree to strongly agree, or like the flexibility, it's endless. For instance, if you go click here in the rated, it's going to open the rated voting Wikipedia, and also if you click in e-voting, it's going to show the e-voting Wikipedia. So you can have like a more grasp on how this range voting works. But let's create like an example. Like, did you watch the voting API introduction? This introduction that I'm giving you. Let me copy and paste this. And for the lower value, I will paste here like I didn't even know about it. And for the upper value, I will put like, yes, I was fully focused on it. And once I click on create, it's going to show to save the election, the JSON. And here you can also have like a pop-up saying that everything was doing election created successfully. So we can see that here in my desktop, I can like see the JSON file. Let me show you for you here. Okay. So this JSON file has like trivial information, like the question, the lower value, the upper value, and also like some metadata with like how many votes are counted, the creation date, the outcome, which currently is new. But we have this key figure here, which is crucial to doing the private stuff, which is the pairs of a public and private key. And for each one of them, we're going to use for a given action. For example, a public key, we are going to use it to vote. And a private key, we are going to use it to getting the result of the election. And now let's just moving, because if you move in your API SyftBox, this one here, and you need to have the client running, which I have here. So in voting, you can see here that there is all the voting API. And once it runs, it creates in your data site, in API data, it creates the voting folder. And inside the voting folder, we have the bailouts and we have the elections. So what I need to do is just drag here and drop in elections. It's doing, yes, okay, it's doing good, nice. So since the app is updating in every 10 seconds, we should be able to see the question here. So perhaps, oh, we also have like a new question here. We still don't have it updated yet, but what is going on once we drag and drop is that we have like in this API, and we can see like if you're going how to use it, we have the URL here of the repo. I'm just going to copy and open here just for here. I think I already have, yeah, I have loaded here, the GitHub. So in run.sh, what it does is, first of all, it's just check if there's a new update. And this is like a very awesome thing in applications in SyftBox, that since it's just files running locally, you can just do a git pull to update the app. And it checks if there's an update, it's just build everything, build the Vue.js client into your machine and in the dist folder. So if you go, for instance, in this vite config, and I'm showing this for you, for a lot of you, because it's interesting. So you can like just, since it's open source, you can just copy and paste these projects and just changing a little bit to trying to have your own applications based on these templates, this setup. So here I'm using the single vite single file, which just generates in the dist, because like here in the voting, once it builds, it's generating in a single folder this index.html. If I'm open, you can see that it's like minimized, like everything compacted in just these like loading. Okay. I don't know if it loads, but it's everything compacted in just one file. Like now it's loading, so you can see that it's human impossible to read, but for a machine it's fine. It's just one file, and once it builds, we can like create our virtual environments, because Python is our backend, it's running everything, and we just install the dependencies, and we can run our API. In the API folder our main. So I create just, by the way, I create these Vue projects using the create Vue tool. So you can follow the tutorial to create the repository with README, with all these predefined files and so on. And I just create a folder here, like API folder, and put the run.sh here. Just that's it. And in API main.py, we have all the logic here. Like we have functions to decrypt, to write the JSON. We have also to get the network participants. But let's see the flow of information. Let's see how the apps works. So first of all, it initiates the clients on your side. It gets the path of all the folders. We have, like in the API directory, we have public for a purpose, for the API purpose, and we have elections and bailout where you drag and drop. So we drag the elections on the elections folder and drag the votes, the bailouts on the bailouts folder. Then we create all of these folders in case they don't exist, and we use Swift permission to give the right permissions of reading and writing. Then we can just simply copy and paste, like the index, the minimize, the bundle generated by view. We can just copy and in the public folder, the voting app. So just copy. And then we can get all the participants that are in the network right now. And we load the election that you created. So this is loading, you're responsible for only the elections that you create. So here is loading all the elections on your elections folder. And then here it loads all the bailouts. The bailouts are in public folders. So it can grab all the bailouts from the users. And once it's stored, the bailouts, it stores corresponding to each election. So for each election, you have the bailouts corresponding to it. Then once we have everything loaded, we can aggregate. And the way we aggregate for each election that we create is by using the private keys. So we can sum up all the values, and then we can decrypt it so we can obtain the outcome of the election. And once the outcome is done, what we do is we write in the public folder. Remember that I told you that this third folder here, public, is for the API dealing. Once it computes the outcome, it's save the election JSON outcome without the private data, without the private key, sorry. So we are having safe copy of the election outcome. And once everything's done, this is like an interesting thing because it grabs all the public outcomes of the elections for all participants and puts in just one single file in your public, in your data site public in elections outcomes. So your clients, your index clients can read the file itself. Let's see if my election is showing here. Did you watch the voting API introduction? Yeah, okay, it's showing here. And you can see that the vote count, it's 0. So let's try to vote. I'm going to vote, and you can just drag the slider here to be more in this left side or more into the right side. I'm going to put 100% because I'm the one that giving the introduction, but please don't tell anyone I vote. I'm going to save the bailout JSON file. It should appear in my desktop, which is here. Perfect. Now, what I need to do is just going in the data sites, in the API data, in the votings, and in bailouts. And I just need to drag these to here. Now, it should, once in 10 seconds, it should appear like vote counted 1. And what is really interesting also is that notice that the outcome of the current election is showing as default for the sliders. So here we have none votes yet. So that's why it's in default is 50%. But in the other ones, it's showing as the vote counted. So let me refresh and see. Yeah, you can see that vote count equals to 1. Okay, and you see that 100% so far. So that's how you create an election. That's how you vote, because you are using the public key to sign the vote. And if we see the bailouts itself, we have all this information of the public key, like the signing, the metadata of the election and so on, the date votes, by the votes. So basically, the single page application is just for generating this JSON, and you just need to drag and drop on the corresponding folder, on your SyftBox, and the API does the rest. I think I cover everything from, let me see. Yeah, now we load the elections, we load the ballots, aggregate votes, and public shared outcomes. Yeah, now just a sneak peek of this new app that I'm creating, part of this one, which is a participatory budgeting one. So the idea here is to have like these like pie chart, by the way, where you can creating projects, creating budgets, and the idea is the inputs, the interface is quite simple. It's everything running on just sliders as previously, as the other rated app, voting app. But here we have also this rank of projects. So the slider here is always take the how many of the remaining. So the remaining is 100%. So how many of the remaining are you is going to take? Let's say we're going to take like 72%. If you create a new project, the 100% of this one is what is remaining of this one. So in the end, the project B, it's 28%, which is the complement of this one. But we can keep building, like keeping incrementing projects as we go. And the thing is that we can just using these arrows to moving the top priorities, like ranking the priorities. And what is really nice about these projects is that we can click. Here you can also delete, of course. By the way, like I'm talking about delete. To delete an election, I just need to delete the file here, and that's it. Because since the API is aggregating in every 10 seconds, if you delete it here, in the next aggregation, it will not find an election. It will not put in the public. Since it's not in the public, it's not going to show. So it should behave like this. It's not tell me open an issue in the GitHub repository so we can fix this. But the back into here, yes, we can delete. But you can see that we have also this zoom, and this zoom what it does is creating like a tree level, a hierarchical level of projects. So we are inside project C, and we can see here, it's like the font is the color of the text is not good. Like it's a little bit dark to see, but here you can have all the path. So we are in project C, and we are creating project CA and have CB. And let's put in like here, and let's enter in the CB. And in the CB projects, we can like keep on going, creating as long as we want. And we can always go back, moving between them. And what I'd like to show is like here in the side menu, we can import and export the budgets. The idea is like soon it will show all the budgets, public budgets that we have in the SyftBox here as a list. But so far we need to do this manually. So let's import the budgets that we have. I have here in the desktop. And I have like this for like a government spending. So we have like projects, education, we have health, we have infrastructure, we have a lot of projects. And inside the education, we can like have science, technology, and basic education. And inside science technology, we can have like AI research and project space exploration, energy transition. So we can, for each project, for each budget, we can like create a new process of doing the budget itself. And the idea of being participatory is that you can like export, like you can import, you can do some adjusts. Oh, I don't agree with this. I prefer this. And then we can export your participatory budget file, which is going to here. Yeah, it's going to be here. And then we can everyone can see and read and so on. So I think that's covered. Like I have these 5 cards here to show. And I think that's it for the presentation. I'm open for questions.
This was a wonderful presentation, Lucas. Really amazing work. Could you like just sum up super quickly again what are the steps for people to vote? I see many people are trying to vote right now, so it might be useful to have like just a last recap of the steps.
Okay, I will show in the app itself. So here in the app, let's go to change the rated voting. Okay, it loads all the elections. Now let's say I want to vote in this one. How easy is it to vote? So I just put the slider where I want to be. Click on votes, it's going to download your bailouts. This is your JSON file. So once you have this JSON file on your desktop, for instance, if you download the desktop or in downloads folder, here is your file. You can verify the elements inside. And in your SyftBox, this is the most important part. If you have the voting API, like see here, the SyftBox have the APIs folder. In APIs folder, you need to put the voting API to create all the folders. Once it's done, it's installed and so on, you can go in your data sites, in API data, and inside API data, it will have the voting app, the voting folder, where you have the bailouts and elections. You just need to move the JSON file here to these bailouts. And if it's an election, like let's suppose that you create here an election, I'm going to put everything just to be quite quickly here. I'm going to download it. Successfully download, okay. Back to here, I have my new election here, this file. Oh, this file, yes, okay. And I'm just going to send it to the public, to the elections, not public, to the elections. Do not send to the public folder. In the public folder, you cannot have the private key, and in elections, you have the private key. So pay attention at this, moving to elections, and then in a while, it should appear this crazy question that I did. But I'm doing a lot of questions, a lot of elections it's going on right now, really interesting. But if this election appears here, what I will do, I will just try to delete to see if it's going on. But yeah, I think, okay, 5 votes on this one, 5 votes on this one, okay. Oh, it's working, really nice. Thank you, guys. Let me see. Yeah, you see it's appeared here. It's nonsense. So let's. This election, it's nonsense. I'm going to delete it, and I think that's it.
I think that's the best election topic.
Yeah, I think this is a very productive discussion, right? But I mean, let's see if this is going to work. It's going to delete, or we should do like fix this issue. But I think that's it. I think there's if there's anything that I can cover, I can give you more details. But yeah.
Amazing work, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, everyone.
I need like I voted sticker. You know, if you go to an election and get like a sticker.
Wonderful. As we're closing in, thank you so much, Eunice and Lucas, for your presentations. I think they were like super interesting, and I'm happy that many people managed to join your computations. I just want to like just screen share for 1 second. This sheet. It's basically in the matchmaking sheet that many of you are aware. It's just like a list of like who wants to like register for the incoming sessions. We're doing it every Friday. Everyone can present what they've been working on, whether it's applied or theoretical. And you can see it's a very nice way to have others join your computation, increase the scale of like how you're running your apps. So yeah, just I'm gonna share the link. You can register. Go ahead, Dionisio.
Just to mention that we actually trained the network. I just tweaked the code a little bit so it can skip people that are still pending. But if you look at the dashboard, it's already like a pretty poor performance because we just copied. Yeah, let me show my screen real quick. So yeah, so I made some tweaks on the aggregator code so it can work. But as you can see, there are a few people that complete the whole like round of thing, right? So these rounds work in a way that the model is aggregated, then it's sent back to each peer, so they can use this new model as the actual new model to train again on their data sets. So for example, here Valerio completed all the 3 rounds, and there are people that are still like in the second one. But the cool thing is, since we just like put 2 or 3 different labels, it was expected for the data set to have a poor performance. But you can see that it's actually running, right? Of course, I did some tweaks, so something can be going wrong outside, but yeah, it seems to be working.
All right, we're at time. Yeah. Okay, successful day. Thanks everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Keep hacking. Bye bye.
Thank you, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.